broadcast, and I will start by discussing the astrological energies for today. And how are you? Please join in. I have already updated you with the newsletter. I have changed up the spread a bit, so it's a bit different from the usual way I do it, but it's exciting. And this card basically popped out as I was just about to start the read. So I sense a lot of lamentation with this energy, and I sense deep pathos, like almost unable to really express yourself with the pain that you have. But you have tangible things in front of you, although you refuse to see that, but you have something tangible in front of you, just like this guy does. And all the cups that he has, yes, do have fallen, but you can't cry over spilt milk, right? And you have to move on. So if you feel like you've had a problem with deciding something, and listen, cups are all about emotions. It's water sign, it deals with water signs, so Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And in a way, this could be speaking of letting go of maybe something you've been holding on to that has served its purpose, and you need to move on, but you refuse to see that, and you refuse to let it go. Maybe you are seeking a higher purpose, and you're fed up with what you have in front of you. And even though you may have abundance in the most literal sense, but you could be seeking something more, right? This could also mean moving on from something. So this card popped out. So this is like the foundation energy. I did not even select this, and now this was the first card that I selected. It is the card of Gemini, and we have a full moon coming up in the sign of Gemini. This is a major arcana card, and it speaks of, yes, union, bliss, and speaks of and it speaks of, just a second, let me share this. Alright, so this speaks of unity, coming together. This speaks of lovers uniting and all that. Of course, that's very obvious with the imagery, but there's something beyond just physical fulfillment here. So this is almost like surrender. Okay, when you are at your most vulnerable self and you can surrender, that is the true power of connection. We live in a society so fooled with addiction that what we lack is connection. The very opposite or antithesis of addiction is actually connection. So this tells me that there is either surrender that's happening or a need to surrender. Okay, so because you've got to understand that love requires surrender. So with this energy as a message from spirit that speaks of lamentation, you have to interpret it according to what this means for you in your specific case, right? So we have the second major arcana card, which is the High Priestess. Oops, so difficult to read The High Priestess in reverse. So the message here is pretty clear. The High Priestess is all about intuition, right? The High Priestess in reverse means we are not listening to our intuition. We could be deluded. We could be swimming in illusion. We could even be facing deception or deceiving. This is very interesting because I have the deception card in the Romance Oracle. So this is a link to whatever's going on with the Gemini energies and Eight of Cups lamentation. So this is about you listening to your intuition now, if you haven't been listening to it. And stop deceiving yourself and ignoring whatever inner promptings come to you, because your internal compass is powerful enough to understand the energies. And here we have another water energy. This is so clumsy. Another water energy, the Seven of Cups. Alright, so we have a lot of planets in water, and especially with the Neptune retrograde station. And now Neptune is going direct, so we are able to get whatever Neptune has for us in the respective houses. So for instance, if it's happening in your second house, it might have to do with your resources and spiritual material both. So the Seven of Cups here tells me that, again, a lot of water energy activation. So listen to your intuition. And even the High Priestess popping up in reverse tells me that we all need to maybe understand what this means. So this again is echoing the very theme of illusion, actually, the Seven of Cups. It's a complete illusory card, so it speaks of, it's echoing this message of deception and the Lovers with the Eight of Cups, which is pathos. So there's obviously heartbreak going on for a lot of you. And I'm going to leave this here so you can just see it, right? Some deception at play. Okay, I don't think you can see it. Okay. Right, and so this is, when this card pops up, it usually means that you are not experiencing reality as you should, and you can't see between illusion and reality. So this is very Neptunian in its manifestation, and actually right now Neptune going direct is stationing direct, actually, which means that it is stationary right now, and the energies of this type of a planet is very potent and felt more deeply than a direct motion or a retrograde motion. So Neptune and its lower vibrations is deceit and deception and lies and lying to oneself and everybody else. So the Seven of Cups here is echoing all the themes. And we have a Three of Swords, which is about a triangular love story and heartbreak. Oops, my camera. Okay. So don't get disheartened, because you know, whatever it is, you've got to work through it. This is definitely a time for shadow work, if there was any. And so yes, there could be a third person involved, either with you or your partner, or I mean, I'm not saying it is, but it could be. Chances are heavy. And then you got the Six of Cups, which is again water. So you've got a lot of water activation. So you can do spells with Neptune, and usually Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and Pisces is the spiritual vibration, but Pisces can get caught up in its own lies. in its lower vibrations. Pisces is all about lies, actually, if you're not careful, if you're not cautious with this energy. So yeah, but Six of Cups is happier than the last cups, because this is about, again, a reunion and integration of memory and emotional memory, of even the false memories that we accumulate, maybe working through them. Maybe that is the deception. So whatever this is, I see a sort of an exchange of emotions and intuitive ideas with this. So this is good. And then the general energies end with the Tower card, which is all about metamorphosis and rapid transformation, which is Uranian. And yes, Uranus has a few aspects today that I've discussed in my article, so please go ahead and read that. So the Tower is all about your structures collapsing. Could even be your ego collapsing, right? Because you've just been deceiving yourself for so long that it's time to really look at the true picture. It could be ideas collapsing. This is in fact such a strong energy that you may find your whole being collapse and you may need to rebirth yourself. This is Plutonic energy for sure, because it does speak of sudden illuminations also, and a rebirth, because whenever the structure's been destroyed, you have to recreate, right? So that was the general energies, and with them I'll show you the romance cards. This is letting go of control issues. So yeah, maybe you're holding on to something that you should let go of, or whatever it is. It could have to do with money, because the next card is finances and career. So find the right balance, or whatever it is that you need to work through, but just make sure you're not trying to hold on to control, because nothing is really under control. Deception, yes, there is a strong sense of deception, right? So there, and the oracles with this, the first Lover energy and the Three of Swords energy is tree. So if you feel this vibe happening, then you may need to ground yourself, okay? Because how do you transition from this to this, right? So use forms of grounding, tree hugging, or you can work with tourmaline, which is this stone. It's very beneficial for grounding and the root chakra activities. So this speaks of rooting. So yeah, your base chakra work. So you need to do yoga asanas or eat accordingly to ground, right? With this energy, if you're facing this. With the Six of Cups, interesting, and the High Priestess in reverse, the oracle is fog, veiled. So Six of Cups is all about, again, I said, coming out of that illusion. Sorry, this was, yeah. So this High Priestess, not listening to your intuition, means your intuition is fogged. So to come to this integration of your emotional memory, you have to lift the fog, which is gonna come in the Tower moment as a tsunami, which will be a wake-up call. So I mean, it's quite intense, yes, but sometimes we need these wake-up calls. Okay, now moving on to your spiritual journey is Tzolk'in. This is the Mayan system of keeping time, and this essentially means your relationship to time, and how do you utilize time, and what do you do with your time, and is time a valid concept for you? Are you beyond time? Have you managed to transcend beyond time? And this tells me that you are finally able to come out of the binaries that challenge you. You're finally able to cut out those emotional twerkings that, you know, you're finally able to see light when you did not see any. And this is very analytical, not purely emotional. This speaks of very centered, focused, grounded emotions. Twos are always dualities and binaries, but Two of Swords in reverse actually speaks of you transcending that duality. With Tzolk'in, it tells me it's related to your time. So since this is your spiritual reading, this tells me how can you integrate spirituality or just awareness in your life and in your space and create time for it. It's very important because you have to ground yourself and, you know, really resurrect from the old to the new. The second message is mandala, which is all about creating that sacred circle, that sacred space, consecrated space. You don't have to literally create an altar. It can be in your mind. It can be metaphoric, but this mandala has to be created. I've told you many times how monks create mandalas out of sand and then destroy them after creating them for hours and hours. So that is in itself a meditation, and of course it stresses the biggest Buddhist truth that nothing is permanent. And this goes with the Two of Wands, which is fire energy, and a lot of Sag is happening right now. Mercury is stationing retro in Sag. The Sun is in Sag. Venus will soon be in Sag. So we've got the Two of Wands, which tells me that there is a pathway beyond duality again with the mandala. This links up beautifully because this could very well be a solar mandala. Look at that. Okay, and you may be able to transcend this duality, this Two of Swords type of duality, but it was in reverse. I explained that. So how do you create the mandala and how do you become this light being? Through this portal in front of you, right? There is possibility of regeneration and invoking the infinite, right? Look at that. So you can be this person channeling in the wisdom that you need to invoke the infinite. And with this, this is looking beyond the physical. This is metaphysical truth and pursuing metaphysical truth in all sincerity, because look, you have the DNA right here. Okay, and this speaks of a journey. It doesn't have to be a literal journey. It can be a metaphoric journey within your unconscious, because waters always represent the unconscious. So you could be literally going to invoke the infinite through an unconscious internal journey. It could even be the dark night of your soul, and that figure there could be the very demon you need to work through. But you have all the arsenal in front of you. So this is a cakewalk, and this is the balancing of your yin and yang, your inner polarities. Once they balance, this is the very boat that will carry you forward, right? So this comes with this, and this is a very powerful message, right? So I'm going to show you the peacock crystal. This really helps in manifestation. So oops, yeah, right. So maybe you can make a wish, and that was a beautiful, beautiful spiritual journey that we just went through. Alright, now I have 3 oracles to describe this process, and with Tzolk'in and your understanding of time, I have tranquility. So if you don't have that in your life, it's time to bring that. Just breathe and you will see how things change. And with mandala and this Two of Wands, light being, and an alchemical doorway, we've got ready, set, go. So this is the time to move. This is the time to go. And with invoking the infinite, I have alchemy. And look how they even echo the colors. The scheme is so perfect, so complementary. It's like one big gigantic picture, right? Like little digital bits. So yeah, that was your spread. I hope you had fun and enjoyed it as much as I did reading and interpreting it for you. Please visit my website www.tinahills.com and read my blogs and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.